So today, we have two of the most fierce women in the entire MCU going head to head. Gamora versus Elektra. Who wins? Well, let's find out. So, Elektra Nachios was raised and trained by Stick to be a member of the chase to fight against the Hand, not knowing he was just trying to keep her away from them because she was born as the Hand's weapon, the Black Sky. After her death, she was resurrected by the Hand with no memory and became their weapon. After her resurrection, her physicality was enhanced. Although not as strong as Luke Cage or Jessica Jones, she was able to go blow for blow with them and even knock them out with one strike. She was also able to easily send Daredevil flying through glass with one punch. She's tough enough to withstand hits from Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, as well as the Iron Fist punch. And she's fast enough to evade bullets and even deflect a bullet with her side, and to knock out Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil in one quick session before they could react. She's also one of the best fighters in the entire MCU, being able to beat several hand ninjas single-handedly, and best Danny Rand, Colleen, Stick, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage at the same time, and match her best Daredevil, all of which who are either extremely skilled or physically stronger and tougher than she is. She's also an expert swordswoman, but her weapons of choice are her two sides, that she's very skilled and lethal with as well. But in the other corner is Gamora. After Thanos wiped out half of her planet, the Mad Titan adopted Gamora as a child. Over the years, he cybernetically enhanced and trained her to become the ultimate warrior. Years later, she helped form the Guardians of the Galaxy as she finally found a real family. She's superhumanly strong to the point she was able to break out of Groot's branches, throw a rocket over 30 feet, knock people out with one punch, and lift a giant cannon on her shoulder and walk around with it and keep it steady with little to no effort. She's fast enough to disarm two prisoners and bring a knife to Drax's neck before Drax could react, easily dodge blaster fire, and to outpace Nebula. She's durable enough to survive the explosion of her pod, and a point-blank explosion that sent her flying at least 20 feet, and she kept on fighting after a strike from Nebula's sword and being electrocuted by Nebula's staff as well. After years of extensive training from Thanos and Ronin, she's a very skilled and lethal assassin, fighter, and swordswoman. You see, while growing up, Thanos pinned her against Nebula in combat Lord knows how many times, and Gamora won each and every time. And Nebula is a skilled and lethal fighter and cybernetically enhanced even more so than Gamora as well. She also easily beat several prisoners and thugs, and her skill vastly outclassed Star-Lord's. Her only weapon she carries is a retractable sword that is much tougher than a normal blade, possibly being made out of Uru, like Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. It was able to cut off Groot's arms as well. So, who's stronger? Well, Elektra could casually send people flying, send Daredevil flying through glass with a punch, fight against Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, who are much stronger than her, and to even knock Luke and Jessica out with one strike. But Gamora is able to send Nebula flying with a kick, break out of Groot's branches, throw rocket over 30 feet, and to easily lift this small car-sized turret cannon on her shoulder and keep it steady while walking with it and firing it simultaneously. To be honest, they're very close here, but I think Gamora is taking the ever so slight advantage. What about durability? Well, Gamora survived her pod exploding, kept on fighting after being electrocuted by Nebula's staff, and she survived a point-blank explosion that sent her flying at least 20 feet. But Elektra literally shrugged off the Iron Fist punch. The same punch that sent Luke Cage flying not once, but twice and legitimately hurt him, and she just walked it off. I'd say Elektra is slightly more durable. Now, speed. Gamora was fast enough to disarm two prisoners and put a knife up to Drax's throat, all before Drax could react, dodge blaster fire, dodge Nebula's sword strikes, and she's routinely used acrobatic moves while in combat as well. But Elektra was able to dodge bullets, deflect a bullet with her side, to assassinate Alexandra, the main leader of the Hand, before Gal, Bakuto, and Murakami could react, and Colleen said she was faster than anyone she had ever seen, which is really saying something because Colleen isn't slow by any means, and she had also seen Danny fight several times, and yet she still puts Elektra above him. But Gamora moves so fast that Drax couldn't react, and although he's not the brightest, he's still a skilled warrior who's faster than the average human. I'd say they're fairly equal in speed. So they're pretty even physically, with Gamora being slightly stronger and Elektra being slightly tougher. So what about skill? Well, just like physicality, it's extremely close. Both have been trained to be assassins and warriors all their life. Due to being born as the Black Sky, Elektra was literally born to fight. She beat 3 chased warriors as a child, 10 hand ninjas in the dark while unarmed, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones simultaneously, and the excellent fighter Stick. She's also matched or bested extremely skilled fighters and martial artists like Murakami, Danny Rand, and Matt Murdock. Even Alexandra stated that she had more skill possible to have in one lifetime. But Gamora was trained by Thanos to be the most fierce and dangerous woman in the galaxy. Growing up with Nebula, Thanos made them fight in combat hundreds and hundreds of times, and the loser would be cybernetically enhanced to be the other's equal. And Gamora won each and every single fight. Nebula didn't win once. This is impressive because Nebula received the exact same training and is probably physically superior due to all the enhancements, and she's a more brutal fighter as well. The only reason why Nebula won in their last fight is because Gamora showed compassion and saved her life. Gamora also easily bested several thugs and prisoners, and her skill vastly outclassed Star-Lord's as well. And she's clearly the best fighter on the Guardians of the Galaxy team. Both are easily in the top 10 best fighters in the MCU, but if I had to choose, I'd say Elektra, only because she's beaten Danny and Matt, and we saw how skilled they were, or are. But the only actual skilled fighter Gamora has beaten is Nebula, and we don't know how skilled she is. Like, we know she's a fierce warrior, but when it comes to pure hand-to-hand skill, she's been less than impressive, not showing much of any skill, really. Nowhere near Matt's and Danny's level anyways. But Gamora isn't too far behind in fighting skill. And finally, weapons. This is where Gamora takes an advantage, because Elektra only has her 2 scythes, while Gamora has her sword. This sword was able to easily cut through adult Groot's arms, and to cut the obelisk monster straight down the middle. So, who wins? Well, this would be an incredible fight between 2 fierce women, but I have to give it to Gamora mostly because of her sword. It's tougher than Elektra's scythe, meaning after enough hits, her scythes are going to break. And with Gamora's greater strength, equal speed, and near equal skill, she should be able to overcome Elektra's skill and durability. Elektra definitely has what it takes to win some, but at the end of the day, Gamora is winning the majority. Gamora wins. Like and subscribe. Please leave a comment of what you think and hit the notification bell if you did enjoy and all that great stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.